if you're having trouble keeping your New Year's resolutions, you may need to think about those goals in a whole different way.
That's right. Dr. Michael Woodward, a.k.a. Dr. Woody, is here to tell us why we should forget about the resolutions and instead just commit to a U plan for 2013. Good to have you back, Dr. Woody.
It's always good to be here.
Yeah, now, are we just playing with words here right now, or is there really a big difference between the U plan and a resolution?
Yeah,
What's
absolutely.
the difference?
First of all, it's this time of year, everyone's making these resolutions for the new year, and New Year's resolutions drive me crazy because, well, they're typically very lofty, vague. They don't really have any substance to them. So instead of hearing, oh, I'm going to resolve to do X, Y, Z, I would rather hear, here is my plan for what I intend to accomplish during the year, and how am I going to do it? That's different than just a lofty pie-in-the-sky idea.
Okay,
so how do we start setting specific goals? Because it sounds like that's what you're saying.
Yeah,
is the goals have to be specific.
And you hit on it. It's all about specificity, right? Because the biggest thing that we do to ourselves is we hold ourselves back. We're our own worst enemy because we refuse to commit to specific actions and an actual tangible destination. So when it comes to coming into the new year, the first thing I want you to do is set a clear and specific destination. So I don't want to hear, oh, I'm resolving to lose weight or get in shape. I want to hear, I'm going to lose 15 pounds by March 15th, or I'm going to be able to run 5 miles in 45 minutes by May 15th. Like clear, specific, an end goal, something I can get my hands around and that I can be held accountable for.
Okay, and I don't know. I felt a little stressed with that one. I was thinking, yeah, no, and is that good stress? Because if you give yourself a resolution for the whole year, you kind of feel like, all right, I got 12 months to make this happen.
That's the problem.
I know.
That's the problem.
But then when you stress yourself out too much about doing it in a certain period of time, you may end up failing that way too, right?
But,
like you have to have the right mindset.
But you have to create the mindset for yourself.
Okay.
So, in other words,
I'm working with you here.
If you don't commit to anything, you're not going to get anywhere. It's like if you get in the car and you don't know where you're driving, you're never going to get there.
Right.
Okay.
So it's setting the destination and being clear on it, but be reasonable. I'm not saying be unreasonable, but put a reasonable time frame and a reasonable actual goal, because otherwise you're not going to achieve it.
Okay.
And then you say, create a roadmap.
Yes.
So that we don't get stressed, we give ourselves a roadmap.
Right, so you break it into chunks, to get to your point. So we'll slowly edge our way there. So when it comes to a roadmap, there's a few things. First, you need to list out all the activities that you need to do to make sure you get there. So let's use the weight loss example. Now, I may need to start working out more. I may need to start eating better. So what does that mean? So the second thing is, all right, what are the requirements or barriers? So do I need to get on some kind of meal plan? Do I need to join a gym? Do I need to get a treadmill? What are the things I need to do to make those activities real? And then you need to put them on a schedule, right, and set a routine for yourself that you can reasonably keep to.
Audra over here having chills.
I know, like, oh my God. Just gonna run me out of here.
I'm still on commit. I'm like, oh God, but it makes sense though. It's work in progress.
But that's the problem, is the committing.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a lot more difficult, but it makes more sense than just throwing something out there. And you need to have a support system. You cannot do this all by yourself.
And I'm a big believer, you know, and this is the psychologist in me, is creating a support group. And I always say, hold a press conference about what you're going to do. So that way, essentially, you're going to shame yourself into it, or those around you will shame you into it, because now you feel like it's out there. I've said it. Now it's real. I really got to strive for it. And get people to help support you. There's a great example a year or so ago when Senator Claire McCaskill got on Twitter and told all of her followers about her weight loss plan. So she put herself out there to have others hold her accountable.
And she used that fear of failure to keep her on the path.
Right. You know, other eyes are watching you. You're going to do right.
And you don't want to blow.
Will you keep me accountable?
I will tell you. You're perfect. You don't need to change.
Say that again. Say it again.
See how that works? Thank you so much, Dr. Woody. For lots of other ways to achieve your goals in 2013, pick up a copy of the U Plan.
You say I'm perfect? Did you say that? I heard. Okay, thank you very much. Just want to make sure I heard it right. Coming up next, Hot Topics. This is real Hot Topics. Snakes in suits. We're not describing ourselves. Which jobs supposedly attract the most psychopaths?
Oh, welcome back to The Better Show. We're going to do a little Hot Topics now. Dr. Woody is hanging around with us because this involves mental health a little bit. So set this up.
Okay.
You showed me this and made me laugh.
We found this article that says the jobs with the most psychopaths. And we said you might be surprised. We were surprised to see this list here. You know, sometimes you feel like you're the only one at work that has a level head. I'm not saying I do, but I clearly don't. But there are a lot of people at the office that feel like you're the only normal person there and everyone else is crazy. Well, if you work with these people, maybe it's true.
It might be true.
Okay, so these are the kinds of jobs most likely to attract psychopaths. Number 1, CEO. Number 2, a lawyer. Number 3, media. Oh, shocker.
Say it.
People who work in the media. TV,
television and radio people.
Yeah.
What?
And we're on there again, too. Salespeople, surgeons, and then number 6 was journalists.
Journalist.
So ding, ding, ding.
Police officer, clergy, chef, civil servant. Dr. Woody, I'm interested in your take on this. First of all, how do they figure this out? And is it accurate? And what do you think?
Yeah, what attributes do a psychopath do they have that these other professions?
Sure, and let's preface this with saying that, you know, we have to be careful of overgeneralizing certain studies. So, you know, we all have encountered our share of interesting, unique, and challenging personalities in the workplace. There's no doubt about it, especially in media, as you aptly noted on the list. There is very strong evidence that personality is very predictive of certain types of success and work behaviors. No question about it. But the idea is leveraging those strengths and going in the right direction. Now, when it comes to psychopathology, we have to be careful because people who have pathologies are all over the place. Now, they may be drawn to certain areas, and it's hard to tell. I don't know if there's any definitive research that would say that. But you know, whenever you get folks who are in positions of power, sometimes that can bring out the worst in people. And so it's important to be careful and pay attention to that, particularly when it comes to narcissism and authority, because a lot of times they have a high evaluation of their own self-worth and what they can do, and they may ignore all that's going on.
Okay, so then I get the CEO, because you're in a position of power, obviously, you're head of something, lawyer. But media, the people who have the true power are behind the camera. They're not out here.
But technically they work in media, and I think people that do what you and I do for a living, present company excluded, are self-important and have a very high opinion of themselves. I think if you got the average television person and put them in a room, they would be happy to talk about themselves for hours.
What it comes down to is when you're rewarded for being out there in the public eye by lots of people and fans, whether it's an executive in their company or a media personality going out in public, what happens is that continues to bolster any notions that you have about your own value and your own self-worth. For good or bad, what happens is you may extend your belief in that, and that can be a challenge. And sometimes you just have to check yourself.
For a clergy person.
Check yourself.
Check yourself, right?
Hey, check yourself.
But you know what? I do want a chef. Chef was number 9 on the list. I want to have a competent chef.
Who thinks he knows what he's doing.
Who knows what he's doing.
Well, there's probably TV chef is what they have on there.
You know, on the other side of it, I thought this was fascinating. How many caregivers and nurturers are on the least likely to be psychopaths? Care aide, nurse, therapist, teacher, creative artist, doctor, accountant.
Keep in mind, those are folks that have a tremendous amount of sympathy and empathy, and those who are more psychopathic will have less of that. In other words, you know, anyone who's considered a psychopath is not going to have that ability to be sympathetic or empathetic. It's a real challenge for them.
And in those caregiver professions, that's almost a given. You have to be to function.
Look, on the lowest rates, doctor was number 9. Highest rates, surgeon was number 5. So just a little twist in terms of the specific type of, you know, medicine. It makes a difference.
Well, caregiving versus playing God. I don't know. It depends.
I think the takeaway from this is just stay home. These people are crazy.
Stay away from us.
We'll be right back.